Hey, welcome back to Live Life Simple. I've tried a whole bunch of new stuff in my garden this year, one of them being ginger. Today we're going to take this from the plant to the root and then into the freeze dryer into a powder for cooking, or we can take that powder and put it into a capsule. We're going to do all that coming up. So let's talk about ginger. Ginger is a rhizome, or a root. The rhizome, it will come back every year, but if you live in colder climates, it's probably best if you dig it up because you can take part of this off. So part is just the main stem. You can pull these little fingers off. You can use what you need and save the rest of it for next year to plant. You can put it back in the ground if you live in a warmer climate, or if you live in a colder climate, you would just save that in a little bit of dirt over the winter and you could plant it the next spring. In fact, you can see that some of these have a little bit of a sprout on them. If you put these in the ground right now, they would continue to grow. If you don't harvest them at all and actually leave them in the ground, they will continue to grow all winter long and they will continue to just develop and get even bigger. Most people do not like the taste of ginger that is not harvested every year. It becomes more potent, more spicy, but most people prefer the taste of young ginger, which is when you harvest it every year, you take pieces off of it and then you actually plant it again the next year. Ginger has lots and lots of health benefits. I encourage you to do some research on ginger, but as far as freeze drying is concerned, let's get into freeze drying. What we're gonna do is actually soak this first because I'm gonna do whole ginger, skin and all, and we're gonna freeze dry it that way. And if you don't wanna do that, I'll show you how to do that as well. So I'm gonna kind of spray this off and then actually let it sit in some water for about 20 minutes. That'll kind of loosen up some of the junk on the outside. This is a root crop, so it's full of dirt. So what happens if you did not grow ginger, or you don't know how to grow ginger, or your store that's near you does not have a good spot to buy ginger? I've found a really good resource to be Etsy. There's a lot of private sellers on there. There's good quality organic ginger, and I really like buying through there because it's supporting small businesses and individuals, and it also gives you a chance to buy a crop that you can actually put in the ground and grow yourself, because all of that ginger root and rhizome, that can be put into the ground or you can just eat it right away. After the ginger is soaked for 20 or 30 minutes, I like to take a little scrub brush and just kind of loosen up all of the stuff off of here. There are lots of cracks and crevices in ginger. It's kind of hard to get everything. And now that our ginger is washed, it's clean, it's ready to go, you have to figure out how you want to process this. So ginger is not very easy to process if you want it peeled. I typically just shred this into smaller pieces. You can eat the whole thing. The whole ginger root is actually edible, but depending on what your end result is going to be, what you're going to use it for in the end, it might depend on what you do with it. So if you need to process it, if you're just trying to get a powder or something, you're going to want to take a potato peeler or some kind of peeler, you can do it with a knife also, and skin the ginger all the way down. You're just taking the skin off. It almost looks like a potato when it's peeled. And the fiber on the skin is actually a fiber. It's very high in fiber, but it kind of makes a fibrous type substance. You'll see that later in the video after we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and process mine. I'm gonna run it through a food processor into smaller pieces. That'll make it freeze dry faster. It'll also make it easier to powder in the end. So let's get to that right now. And then that'll give you a much more manageable size to freeze dry. I'm going on to pre-cut parchment paper and then some silicone mats also from freeze drying supplies. All right, well, no pre-freezing today. I think this should be a really quick cycle. I don't remember exactly how much ginger this was. I'll have to look and I'll put that weight right here just so you know how much ginger a small will take. This is a small Pro model, so 4 trays. They hold about 4 cups each if you fill them to the top of the tray. Take a minute to subscribe to Live Life Simple if you haven't already. We do freeze drying on this channel. We do some other things that you might be interested in. While you're there, click the bell next to the subscribe button. That will send you a notification every time we release a video. That's Sundays at 8 a.m. for us. And if you find these videos helpful or at least entertaining, give us a thumbs up and let us know. We are using Harvest Right freeze dryers today. We've been using Harvest Right freeze dryers for 6 years now. If you're interested in Harvest Right freeze dryers, do us a favor. Before you purchase, go down in the description, click show more. That'll take you to our affiliate link. That greatly helps this YouTube channel, and it greatly helps the freeze drying community because we put those commissions back into the freeze drying community. We develop products for freeze drying. We do giveaways in our social media groups, which is Retired at 40's freeze drying group. We have a Facebook group and a MeWe group. If you need any of the products that you've seen in this video, make sure you check out freezedryingsupplies.com. We started all of these products from the ground up. We developed them. They did not exist before we did it because we are freeze dryers and we know what it takes to streamline the freeze drying process. So make sure you check out those products. If you want this recipe today, as well as more than 300 other recipes, make sure you check out freezedryingcookbook.com. Those recipes are updated almost daily, and if you want the hard copy, we actually will have a new volume 2 coming very, very soon, if not already. And now, freeze-dried ginger in 3, 2, 1. Just under 31 hours on our minced ginger. We're gonna run this through a food processor, get it into a powder form before we bag this up. So this batch of ginger, because I minced it so small before I started, actually turned out much, much better. The fibrous skin part is not even, you can't even see it this time. The last time I did this, I did not chop it up as thin, and there was much more fiber and stuff in here. This is actually very fine powder, and this you could cook with, you could bake with, or you can use it in a capsule, which is what I'm gonna do today. Now, once you're at this point, you have a nice powder that you can cook with, that you can bake with, or you can put them into capsules. I like to use the 00 size. I'll put a link down in the description for the ones I use. There are quite a few different ways that you can actually put these into capsules. You can do them by hand, or you can use kits. I've found this one to be low priced and it's easy to use. It's about $50. This will allow you to do about 100 capsules about every 7 or 8 minutes. I hope that you found this video entertaining and helpful. If you did, do us a favor and hit the like button. And in the meantime, remember to live life simple, and we'll catch you next week.